Hello and welcome. I am Abdul Azim Akhtar, Faculty of Law, SDT University. Today, my topic is about Islam, gender and equality beyond perceptions. Last year, we have seen the entire newspapers and the media space filled with talk about triple talaq. What is talaq, how women are being treated, whether they have a right to seek the annulment of divorce, and so much. But are we having any knowledge about the real position of women in Islam? Was it the real picture or was it some rhetoric which I remember going to, in fact, a conference organized by Indian Law Institute last year where they had asked all the people from across the country to come and discuss that whether the position of women in Islam is a question of equality, and if you go beyond whether they are empowered in Islamic society, that is the basic question we are asking today. Let me first begin with the brief introduction of Islam. What we mean by Islam? Is it what the followers of Islam of different sects, heterodox sects, different beliefs do, or is it what was said in the divine revelations by the God in the book Quran? That is the big question we have to ask. So in simply word, it means submission to God. So people who are today questioning the very idea of the Islam, they are those people who are basically not too much aware of the meaning of Islam. It is all about the submission to God. So those people who do not want to submit, they want to rebel, they want to follow their own ethos, they want to follow their own traditions, they want to follow their own mind, then I think they have a big question to ask. And the question is, why are being discussed this question of Islam? It is nothing to do with Islam. It is simply a question of the practice. We have a theory on one side and then we have practice. There is a big difference between theory and practice, and this is the crux of the problem. First, we take the position of the girl child. So we have various traditions which say that if you are having one girl child, two girl child, three girl child, and if you make them, if you educate them, if you nurse them, if you marry them off, and if you are taking the guardianship of them, your place in heaven is assured. So right from the birth, we see that there is a clear cut direction to the Muslims that girl child should be given a special treatment by the Muslim men. Then after the early life, we have the example of, say, the time of marriage. Whether she has the right to choose the partner, the answer is yes. She has the right to choose the partner and her consent is required at the time of marriage. So we have this first example when women are treated not only on the equal footing with men, but wherever we have directions which are regard to the rules, regulations and the law as ordained in the book Quran, we see that the same message is applying to both sex. It is for the fair sex as well as the male. There is no discrimination as far as the works and the deed are concerned. Both are promised the reward in this world and the next world depending on their actions and their work. If there is any noble deed done by any of the sexes, there is no discrimination whatsoever. Islam treats women on an equal footing, but they are not treated as same. That is the big difference which we are having. We have equality of the rights, equality of opportunity, equality in terms of the rights to inherit property, equality in terms of the education, equality in terms of choosing the partner, and equality in terms of signing the petition. So what happens afterwards? When you decide that you are going to marry a certain person, are you going to be given the chance to again give your opinion? Yes. We have 3 times oral, permission from the woman, from the girl who is going to be married once, twice and thrice. She has to give the oral permission 3 times so that her will is considered in legal terms that yes, she has given the consent. And after the oral consent, she has also to sign on the nikahnama. So if you take into account the various aspects of the rights women enjoy inside the Muslim society or Islam, then you will come across that the big debate is about how much cover up and how much open up. This is a big debate and a big issue. I think every society, if you go to Haryana state, you will find that even women who are not Muslim, they are covering their faces. When they go to say, fetch the water, they go outside their home, they're not Muslims. And if you go to the Indian state of Haryana, Rajasthan, you will find that there are many women who also practice parda, but they are not in fact Muslims. And if you go to history, you will find that we have examples of the Victorian times when ladies were having the long sleeves and in fact long skirts. So this development of dress code and dress choice is entirely up to the women, whether they want to cover up, they want to open up, they want to wear any kind of dress. I think no religion, no society is giving them any direction. But yes, we have guidelines which are, as you can see, if you read the books of medicine, they say prevention is better than cure. Every book has this manual written on the top. Why? It says that you prevent the disease. Prevention of disease is most important than curing the disease because of 2 reasons. One, you will be saved of the money and you will be saved of the problem. So whatever directions or the rules and regulations have been made inside the Sharia and Quran with regard to covering up, it also applies to men equally. Men are directed to clearly keep their gaze down, keep their gaze down. All the guys are directed to keep their gaze down. Means we have to look down. We cannot look into the eyes of women. That is not only for women. Women are directed to cover up their bodies. That is again a preventive measure. It is up to the women to decide whether they want to follow or they want to rebel. Nobody is asking them to follow and nobody is asking them to rebel. It is the choice for the women to whether they want to follow Islam or they want to not follow the Islam. Because as we remember, I said in the beginning that Islam means the submission to God. If you do not want to submit to God, then the world is free, you are free, your mind is free, everything is free. You enjoy the full freedom to go by your own verdict. You enjoy all the rights which you are going to enjoy and all the privileges in society. That is the question for the women to decide whether they are going to be bound by certain rules and regulations. If you go to any company, if you go to any employer, of course every company and employer also has certain rules and regulations. Now you will say that this rule is not good. I don't want to follow the rule. So it is your choice. You can leave the company, you can leave the organization. Nobody is forcing you. The employer will not come you with a gun and say, no, you will have to work here. No, he will not say. It is your choice. Similarly, here in the matters of the regulations which are with regard to the covering up or the parda system, it is absolutely the choice of the women whether they want to follow this or they do not want to follow this. Nobody is going to force them. So to conclude, my point is that the position of women in Islam is based on the nature and the natural being of women. It takes into account also the biological conditions and the monthly periods which she has to go through every month. That is why Islam clearly says that you should not have a sexual relation with women when she is menstruating. That is, I think, a very revolutionary guidance for anybody to follow. But are we having a big followers? We have a tantric system in India where the tantrics used to suck the blood of the menstruating women. So this is a big question for us, whether we want to follow one code or other code. It is nobody's, in fact, guess that the entire decision is up to the women, and the various practice of saying somebody is saying that she is my adopted sister or he is my adopted son. Islam clearly says that all the adopted relations are prohibited. Why? Because we have practice in the time of Arabia that where women are said that you are like my mother. The moment the husband says that you are like my mother, he stops having any physical relation with the wife. So what will happen to the wife? She will be suffering, she will be deserted, while the man will go and enjoy with another woman. That will be a big tragedy for the woman who is already married to him. She will neither be given any divorce and she will not be given any consent to leave the house while he is enjoying the life with the other. So it is a better position that she is given a divorce, she is given a consent to leave the house, and she is enjoyed by only legal means. So that question has to be asked whether we want to give any regulation, any rules, any morality, any ethics to be followed. Remember what Ashoka said in his edicts. He says clearly that we may follow any religion. It is our choice. But we cannot condemn other religions. That is the basic tragedy. When we start condemning other religion, the basic idea of trusting and respecting other is lost. So we have to build a society where we try to understand. Ashoka also says that we must make a genuine attempt to understand other religion. If we do not know other religions, it is our not business to attack or condemn them, because then we will be doing a great act of ignorance. Ignorance is never a bliss. We must understand that we have to, apart from knowing our own faith, we must know other faiths, and we try to understand the other rules and regulations that will be in the interest of the society and of the world. So my conclusion is that women inside Islamic society, they have their own rights, they have their own equality, they have their own empowerment. It is up to the women to decide whether they want to submit to God or they do not want to submit to God. Thank you.